You've got it tuned to KEXP. We're listener-powered radio at 90.3 FM in Seattle, online at KEXP.org. And we've got one of my favorite people in studio today. Eric, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to be back.
It's so wonderful always to have you here. And it's weird to call one person Fruit Bats, but you have played with lots and lots of people over the years, but essentially you are Fruit Bats.
Yeah, it was sort of me from the start, and then I've had a pretty stable band for the past few years, but yeah, it started off as me, and more or less, yeah.
And it's ending.
It is ending, yes.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about that, but why don't you start with a song?
Sure. I should play all Mouthfuls songs, I think. It's the 10-year anniversary show tonight. So here's one. It takes a little shake up from the rift. It takes a bit of wind to get you to lift. It takes sandstorms and signs from God. It takes a piece of grass floating on a breeze. It takes a plastic bag stuck up in a tree. It takes cold fronts and sackcloth skies. It takes leviathans down in the abyss, the hidden messages of the things that you missed. And it takes mouthfuls of Niagara Falls. It takes a little shake up from the rift, and it takes a bit of wind to get you to lift. It takes sandstorms and signs from God.
So lovely. Fruit Bats live on KEXP and a track from Mouthfuls. And usually I say to people it feels like an album just came out, but I feel like I've been listening to that record forever, for a lifetime, more than 10 years. It really cool. Has some great staying power.
Awesome. Thanks.
You have a voice that pulls at the heartstrings, just the timbre of it just almost makes me want to cry. And with the news that's come out this week that Fruit Bats is hanging up their hat, I really almost literally feel like crying after hearing that song.
I'm going to play the much sadder songs coming up too, so it's just going to get more brutal.
So everyone grab a hanky.
Yeah.
But do tell us what's going on with you. Do we just you've got a show tonight here at the Neptune in Seattle, and just this week, a couple days ago, we got news that you've decided to call it a day with the project Fruit Bats, and I'm going to assume that you're not going to stop making music.
Oh no, I'm there's plenty more where that came from. So it's it was I struggled sort of with the announcement and how to make it really, because it's like ostensibly it's probably falls somewhere between a band breakup and a name change, but I'm kind of retiring the name and retiring the catalog too, kind of for the most part. I'll probably play some of the songs, but yeah, I want to make more stuff still. I just I've just been doing this for a really, really long time. So it was sort of time for a change. It's kind of no more simple than that, really. So
it's definitely fair enough.
It felt weird I was like, I could probably just keep doing this forever and sort of be lazy and trot it out once a year or something to diminishing returns, or I could sort of just call it a day when I'm still feeling really not cynical about it, and sort of like give people a chance to just sort of put it out of their minds. So yeah.
Well, fans are never going to let you get away with never playing these songs again, but as you said, maybe you can trot out a few.
I will.
Now and then.
Yeah.
So what are you doing now? I know you've been working. You've worked on some film score type things?
I've done a bunch of film score stuff, which is really cool, and I've been really fortunate to get into that because it's sort of like that's sort of the dream job if you've been doing things for a while, to be able to do that. So it's fun. I've did a few, and I've also realized that I have no interest in infiltrating Hollywood either. So I'm like doing that. I've started to produce some records, which has been really fun. Like that sort of, I basically got a call to do that, and then sort of one came after another, and I never considered doing that, and I totally loved it. So I've been doing that too. So
you did live down in LA for a while, a few years back, isn't that right?
Yeah.
And now you're back in Portland? I'm
back in Portland, yeah.
And are you producing Portland-based bands, or are you branching out farther afield?
I actually haven't. I haven't produced a band from Portland yet. So yeah.
There's a lot of good ones there.
Yeah, if you're in a band in Portland, give me a call. But I was just working on a record with Nina Persson from Cardigans on her solo record. So that's the thing I just finished, and that was I was working on that in Sweden actually, because she's Swedish. So that's kind of like the latest thing that I've got sort of done, and that'll probably be the. I did the Breathe I'll Breathe record, who are from Michigan, actually, but are popular in the Northwest and in Portland. They played Pickathon and stuff a bunch of times. So I did them, and then Nina was completely different too. So two extremely different things, like a very sort of weird psychedelic folk record, and then an awesome, gorgeous Swedish pop record. So, two different directions.
It sounds like you're incredibly busy. Are you still playing with the Shins as well?
I'm not. I've been not with the Shins for a few years now. Although James and I get together at James's sometimes and play instruments together for fun more. But yeah, that's more of just like a friend hangout.
Well, it sounds great to keep things fun. Can you play a couple more songs?
Yeah, absolutely. What am I playing next? Oh, Seaweed. Okay, here's a sad one.
Eric Johnson of Fruit Bats live on KEXP, playing at the Neptune Theater in Seattle tonight, and I hear there's a few tickets left for that show.
If I broke my jaw for you, I'd find a bloody tooth and rip it out. Throw it in the water where it flowed into the river, let it out. Out across the floodplains it would float until it reached the open sea. Underneath the sand and silt, and in between the smooth stones and seaweed. Love is like a spaceship burning up when it hits the atmosphere. Wishing that for once it might have wised up right and stayed away from here. Up and out of a space where there's no oxygen and nothing makes a sound. Martians build canals to bring the water and to sail their vessels down.
Fruit Bats live on KEXP. Tonight playing at the Neptune Theater in Seattle. Tomorrow night you'll be up in Victoria. And then a final show Saturday night at the Aladdin Theater in Portland. And you've been running up and down the West Coast for, I don't know, a decade or so now.
Yeah.
And you do sound like you have a voice plucked right out of Laurel Canyon and your music as well. But you're actually from the Midwest.
Yeah,
and
I'm
you started
from Chicago.
the band.
Yeah.
You think you'll have to do a last hurrah there maybe at some point?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that would. I like a lot of the lineups before I moved out here were there. Like that was like where a lot of the changes sort of occurred and where it started. So I'd like to do sort of a. I'm trying to plan some kind of like a last waltz type thing where we have like. The fantasy is to have like everybody who ever played with us on stage at once, which would be crazy, and there would be like 30 people or something. But yeah, probably something eventually there.
You'll have to definitely grab some video of that.
I think there will be. Yeah.
That will be fun. Well, again, you're playing tonight at the Neptune, and how about another song?
Sure.
Saving all the waitresses, 'cause they've all got longing in their eyes. The little acorn becomes the mighty oak, and the oak throws its seeds into the sky. Drive your car up to the pole, that's as far as you can go. Take your coat off when you know to warm your bones in the northern snow. Drop a feather in the water, what the ocean gives, the sky will take. Killing swans with 21 guns, just to see them fall into the lake. Salty sea. and you can watch the waves from its wave. Killing swans with 21 guns just to see them fall and see them break. Drive your car up to the boat, that's as far as you can go. Take your coat off when you know to warm your bones in the northern snow. 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 Oh, oh, oh. In the northern snow. Oh, 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 oh.
So beautiful. Fruit Rats live on KEXP, songs from the 2003 album Mouthfuls, and you'll be playing that entire album tonight, is that right?
Yeah, we're going to play the whole album, which is not super long, actually. So, and basically like a whole other set. We're playing a long set. It's our last show ever in Seattle, so we weren't just going to go out and play for 42 minutes and then be like, see you later. So, yeah, we're playing that whole album to start the evening off, and then basically like completing the set with like a whole bunch of other stuff. So it'll be an extravaganza, basically.
And who's going to be playing with you tonight?
It's basically the usual cast of suspects from sort of recent times. Graham Gibson on drums, Ron Lewis on bass, Dave Depper on guitar, and then we actually have a new member from who's been for the last few months named Garth Clippert, who plays in the great band Old Light in Portland that you may have heard of, who are awesome. So he's playing keyboards, and yeah.
That's great. Well, that's tonight at the Neptune Theater, and I don't want to pigeonhole you or put you on the spot, but have you thought about what your next music will sound like? Is it going to be a band thing, a solo thing? Can't imagine the sound could be too different with that golden voice.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, the sort of the concept is that part of it is going to be very solo-y sounding, in a way that's hopefully pretty dramatic and sort of gives me more opportunity to actually get out there and sort of just be a guy with a guitar, which is kind of, I'm getting more comfortable with doing that. I hated doing it for a long time, and I'm starting to like it. So, but also I have a non-concept for kind of going in, and I always have a real game plan, and I'm like this. I also want to do something with music and musicians, so I have a little bit of a concept of really going in and doing the band portion of the album. I don't know how it's going to sound, and I don't want to know. So, yeah.
Well, we're excited to see what comes up. The world is your oyster.
Thanks.
But suffice it to say, you won't be picking up a drum machine and a disco beat anytime soon, or we never know?
I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Yeah, it could be anything, really.
Well, like I said, I don't want to pigeonhole you, but we look forward to whatever's next for you. And tonight you're at the Neptune Theater here in Seattle.
Yeah.
And you got time for one more?
I do.
Baby, remember on the bus and my hand was on your knee. When you love somebody, it's hard to think about anything but to breathe. Baby, I am the cub who was washed out in the flood. When you love somebody, bite your tongue, all you get is a mouthful of love. baby, remember on the bus and my hand was on your knee. And when you love somebody, it's hard to think about anything but to breathe. Baby, I am the cup who's washed out in the flood. And when you love somebody, bite your tongue, all you get is a mouthful of blood. Baby, I am the cup who was washed out in the flood. When you love somebody and bite your tongue, all you get is a mouthful of blood. When you love somebody, it's hard to think about anything but to breathe. When you love somebody, it's hard to think about anything but to breathe. When you love somebody and bite your tongue, all you get is a mouthful of blood. When you love somebody, it's hard to figure out, When you love somebody, it's hard to figure out, When you love somebody, it's hard to think about anything but to breathe.
So lovely. It's Fruit Bats Live on KEXP. Eric, thank you so much for coming by today.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for all the awesome support of us by you guys over the years. You really have been awesome to us.
Wow.
So, yeah.
We love the music, as do our listeners. And tonight, you and the band playing at the Neptune Theater, and a couple more shows before the last waltz, yet to be determined in Chicago.
Yeah, come on out, Seattle. It's I wanna say goodbye to all you nice people. So, yeah.
You've got to tune to KEXP Seattle.